Yours up to Book.XX here, and welcome to finally, I'm actually making another Sonic video. The first video in a while that isn't a Persona video. Told you guys the last one was going to be my last Persona video. Or did I actually say that? I actually don't remember. But anyway, so recently, and by recently I mean literally 2 days ago, the Sonic movie, or the sequel to the Sonic movie, came out in the UK. It's still not out in the US until the 8th of this month, but all of us in the UK have seen it now. So I decided I'm going to give my review. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, as it says in the title. I will be doing a more in-depth review on the 8th, or maybe the 9th, maybe I'll wait a day, after the US release date, because I just feel like that's probably a little bit more fair. But as of now, yeah, I'm going to be sticking to a more spoiler-free review. I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible, so I'm going to try not to bring up any plot details, just sort of give my general thoughts, while also still giving you my opinion. There's definitely been some interesting reviews going up about this movie, and I just wanted to, weigh in with my opinion. And, I haven't been doing review videos recently because point by point takes up a lot of time, and my situation right now makes it so that doing that would be agonizing, and I'm waiting until I'm in a better situation to where I can make point by points again. That's part of what I've wanted to say for like the past 2 months. Yeah, I'll get into that. I know I've said this down here every video, but I will get into that in another video. I'm actually going to record it right after this one. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do it this time. So let's not waste any time and let's get right into this. So I didn't really keep up with this movie beforehand. I do this with a lot of movies where I don't really keep up with them. I saw the first trailer and I saw the second. I don't know how many trailers there were, but I saw the first trailer when it came out because I was like, I need to see this. I just want to see this shit. And then I wasn't planning on watching any of the other trailers, but I was kind of fucked over because when I went to see The Batman, it played one of the other trailers and I was kind of forced to watch it at that point. But still, I didn't know nearly as much about it as everyone else did going into it. At least that would have been the case if it wasn't for the fact that some motherfucker decided to upload a video of the final battle with a huge spoiler in both the thumbnail and the title. So if anyone's watching this who hasn't actually seen the movie yet, be careful of that shit, because it came out of nowhere and it's the fucking worst. I don't know why people are doing this, but people are doing it and it's the worst. So yeah, I knew what happened in the final battle beforehand, which I'm obviously not going to go into that in this video because that's something I can't talk about that without spoiling anything. I'll talk more about that on the video on the 8th or 9th. As I said, I'm not really sure where I'm going to upload it yet. But yeah, I'm just going to say that kind of sucks. The scene was still great though, for those who are here wondering what my opinion on it was. So yeah, what did I think of the movie overall? Overall, I think the movie was definitely better than the first one. I know some people are saying that it wasn't as good as the first one for a couple of different reasons, but personally, I don't get that at all. I'm sorry. Like, the first movie was so average. I think I'd give it a 6 out of 10 at most. Like, it's an enjoyable film, but not much else. It only really had one, maybe two, like, legitimately really good scenes in it. And aside from that, it was just pretty much average. Not much of the humor was really funny. So yeah, overall, the first movie was very middle of the road. Going into the second movie, it was obviously going to be a lot more focused on the Sonic characters, and we knew that from the start because we knew we were going to have Tails from the post-credit scene of the first movie. We knew Knuckles was going to be in it because he was in all the trailers. Obviously, Eggman with his new design, and yeah, this movie is. I don't really consider this a spoiler. This movie is basically just Sonic 3 and Knuckles the movie. Essentially, there's definitely some elements taken from Sonic Adventure. It was actually Voidacat who pointed that out to me, that there is definitely some SA1 elements in there, but it is still for the most part S3K based, which is what we expected, and it was definitely the smart way of doing things. The characters are handled really well. Sonic still is the movie Sonic, which I wasn't expecting any different. I was expecting them to stick with the same character. But I'm kind of in the minority where I don't really like movie Sonic's character all that much. Like, movie Sonic is literally the complete opposite of what game Sonic is. And while I can put up with it for the sake of, the movie, I don't know. it never really rubbed me the right way. But he is definitely a lot better in this movie, and I'm definitely getting a lot more used to him. So it's not really as much of a problem as it was in the first movie. In the first movie, he just didn't feel like Sonic at all. It was so weird. But he definitely feels more like Sonic in this movie, even if it is definitely still that movie Sonic style. But as I said, that's not really a problem. That's just sort of my thing. It's not a genuine problem with the film. But when it comes to the other characters, let's start off with Jim Carrey as Eggman. Holy shit. They basically took his performance from the first film and cranked it up to 11. He is insane in this film. Like, he just, I don't know. He definitely still feels like Jim Carrey, but you can tell that they are trying to write him a little bit more like Eggman is in the games, because Eggman was I don't know, maybe this is just me, but Eggman and Jim Carrey's humor are actually very, very similar. That's why I feel like he was such a good casting for this role, and he knocks it out of the park in this film. I've seen some people say that there wasn't enough of him in this film, and I don't know what those people are getting it from. I actually think he was in this film more than he was in the first one. Like, honest to God, if not more, he was definitely in it just as much, but I think he may have been in it a little bit more. So yeah, he absolutely kills it. But when it comes to the new characters, Tails I know this is a hot take, Tails is the fucking highlight of the film for me. He's fantastic in this. I don't know. Like, I'll get into Knuckles in a second. Everyone's saying that Knuckles is the best part of the movie, and I definitely see why they're saying that. But for me, Tails is so good in this, because Tails in the recent games, the way he's been written, I'm just not a huge fan of. I don't like how they've been writing him in the recent games to just rely on Sonic all the time. I am looking at you, Sonic Forces. Oh my god. But in this film, he felt like Tails again. He felt like the Tails from Adventure 1 and Adventure 2, especially Adventure 1. This really reminds me of Tails' arc from Adventure 1. A lot of people are saying that Tails kind of gets overshadowed by Knuckles, and in LS Mark's video, he says that Tails was just kind of there for exposition, but I really didn't feel like that. He was there to give Sonic someone to care about. He was there to give Sonic someone to be responsible for. That's all I'm really going to say. That's all I can really say without, spoiling anything. But yeah, Tails was easily the highlight of the film for me, and Colleen kills it. I swear to God, I'm so happy they brought her in. She is easily my favorite Tails voice. I know a lot of people will say Amy Palance her favorite. I'm don't get me wrong, Amy Palance's great. I love her Tails. But oh my god, dude, Colleen is like, she's such a good Tails, man. She's so good. I also just realized I didn't really talk about Ben Schwartz's performance as Sonic. And that's another thing. I don't really like Ben Schwartz as Sonic. I'll keep this quick. I didn't really like Ben Schwartz as Sonic all that much. His voice just feels like generic cartoon character number 576 to me. But yeah, no, he definitely fits this version of the character, and I don't know, I was just never crazy about his voice. I'm not saying he performs bad, he actually performs it, he like, for what they're going for, he actually kills it, but I don't know. Hopefully you guys know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I'm not saying that the character's bad or the performance is bad, it just feels kind of generic to me, which to be fair is definitely a product of the way the first film was written, so I don't blame Ben Schwartz for that. But moving on to Knuckles. Knuckles is what a lot of people are saying is the absolute highlight of the film, and as I say, I would 100% see why people are saying that. I just personally prefer how Tails was done, but no, Knuckles is fantastic in this. I feel like this is the best Knuckles has been written, I think, possibly ever. Like, even like comparing this up to the adventure games, like it's up there. Like, this is really, really well written for Knuckles. Like, they really struck, I feel, a good balance between the Knuckles from the adventure games and the newer Knuckles, because he definitely has that comic relief factor to him, where, he is kind of that idiot who's just kind of, he's kind of that character who's always being serious, and that's the funny thing about him. Kind of like Shadow from Sonic Boom, except nothing like Shadow from Sonic Boom, if that makes any semblance of sense. Like, the joke with him is that he is always taking things seriously. Like, to be 100% honest with you, Knuckles actually Knuckles in this movie kind of reminds me of Yusuke from Persona 5, if anyone's played that, where when the action is serious, he is a legitimately, like, serious character and has some great moments, but when they're not really doing much of the action stuff, he is more just comic relief than anything else. And that definitely works. That worked for Yusuke in P5, and I feel like that works for Knuckles here. I feel like they struck a really good balance here. And Idris Elba, oh my god, that he kills this, man. He kills this role. Like, I wasn't expecting him to give him, like, an accent, but it works so well, because I don't really know how to describe the accent. I don't know if it's like a Jamaican accent or what it's supposed to be, but Knuckles actually was supposed to have a Jamaican accent in the original. Like, if you go and look at some of the early, like, if you go and look at some of the early promotional material for Sonic 3, you'll see, like, speech, like Knuckles with like a speech bubble next to him saying very stereotypical Jamaican stuff. So I feel like, as I said, I don't really know if the accent's supposed to be Jamaican. I'm not great with accents, but definitely giving Knuckles an accent here, I felt like really, really worked, rather than just, you know, doing like a typical tough guy voice, which is what I was expecting. And from what I heard in the first trailer, that's what I thought he was going for, because he only really says one line in that trailer. But yeah, he definitely kills this role, and Knuckles being the guardian of the Master Emerald again is absolutely fantastic. This is the first time the Master Emerald has been brought up since, I think this is the first time the Master Emerald has been brought up since Adventure 2. And, like, that was 2001. Like, that's crazy. Like, that is the first time we've heard tell of the Master Emerald in that long. Like, there was references to it in Sonic Boom, because, you know, Sonic Boom was just taking the piss out of like, the Sonic fanbase, which that's why I love Sonic Boom, dude. But, yeah, that was all great to see. It was so good to see a lot of this stuff that hasn't been in the games for years actually brought up again, and that was awesome. So yeah, but that's kind of moving away from Knuckles. But yeah, Knuckles as a character was handled absolutely fantastically. All the Sonic characters were handled brilliantly on this. So moving on to the actual movie itself and the other contents of it, one thing I've heard people complain about in this movie is, well, actually no, I think was it Jeremy Johns who complained about this, said that the human characters take up too much time in the movie. And I don't get that at all. I'm sorry. I think, with the exception of one scene where the movie kind of just turns into a rom-com for like 5 fucking minutes, with the exception of that scene, which honestly, I don't really mind that scene. For people who have seen the movie, that scene definitely comes out of absolutely nowhere and drags on maybe a little bit longer than it should, but I was able to look past it, because to be honest, it was funny. I did find it funny, but also, it is only one scene, and I'm just glad they wrapped up that whole storyline in the course of one scene, rather than having it continue throughout the rest of the movie, because if they kept taking time away from the action to develop that throughout the rest of the movie, I think that would have honestly hindered the movie more, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, so they definitely could have handled it better. They could have had it just be one scene in the middle of another scene. It didn't have to have it be a whole 5-minute scene to itself. But honestly, I'm willing to forgive it simply because it is only one scene and they didn't feel the need to drag it out for too long. So yeah, I personally, but aside from that scene, I think that the humans and the Sonic characters were balanced perfectly in this film. The Sonic characters definitely have the main spotlight, and it does cut back to Tom and Maddie every once in a while, but even whenever it does, it doesn't last too long, and it's mostly something to do with Sonic, or it transitions through something to do with Sonic, so it definitely fit. I feel like they balanced it really, really well, because I didn't want them to just completely get rid of the human characters. I actually really like Tom and Maddie. I think they're really, really likable characters. And if they weren't in this film, I honestly think it would have been for the worse, because they did play, well, Tom especially, played such a big role in the first movie. And I actually really liked them a lot, because Maddie as a character didn't really have all that much to do in the first movie. She's actually a little bit better of a character. She kind of has her own moment to shine in it, and it's cool. Like, she actually feels like a better character in this one. And I feel like the dynamic between them and Sonic is great. I definitely do. I feel like they are great characters, and I feel like they're balanced really, really well here. There is one thing with the human characters that's like it's a really, really obvious joke that's like set up. I'll talk about this more in the spoiler review, but there's like a joke that they set up, or like a dilemma that they set up with Tom, which I saw coming a mile away. So there's that, but I don't know. That was kind of alright. That was a little bit weird. Me and Voidacat actually, I actually turned to Voidacat in the middle of the cinema. We watched it together, and I said I saw this coming a mile away, and he said, "Yep, so did I." So yeah, I hope some of you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not really a spoiler as much, but I still don't want to bring it up, because I know some people don't like hearing anything about the movie, really any plot points about it, so I'm just trying to keep as vague as possible. But yeah, I thought the humans were balanced perfectly. There is one other scene which people say feels out of place, and it's the one in the cabin. I'm comfortable saying that because we did see a cabin in the trailers, so I'm not going to say what happens in the cabin, but I've heard people say the scene in the cabin feels out of place, and I don't know. When it started, I definitely felt like it did, but to be honest, unlike the rom-com scene, at least that one actually serves a purpose to the main plot. And also, it was just a fun fucking scene. It was just, I just sort of see that as a Sonic and Tails bonding moment, really. And it was a fun scene. You know what I mean? I thought the scene was fun. There was just some, it was, I don't know. I enjoyed the scene. I didn't really think it felt that out of place, especially in this movie. Like coming off of the first movie, it didn't really feel all that out of place. It's not really something that surprised me. It didn't really give me any kind of whiplash like the rom-com scene did. So yeah, I'm totally fucking, I'm for the most part pretty much fine with that scene. And aside from that, I can't really think of any other issues I have with this movie. I've heard some people complain about the pacing, and sure, this movie definitely rushes into things, because the first movie did take a solid like 30 minutes or so to actually get everything set up. This movie wastes no time getting into the main plot. And for some people, I'm sure that's a bad thing. Like, I personally liked that, because there was no messing around. It was just right into the main action of the film. It was just, you just got right in there. I like that. Now, I know LS Mark's review has probably, I'm pretty sure that one was pretty controversial, and I do want to address that a little bit. His review, he says that he feels like the pacing was really, really bad and all that stuff. But I'm using this as an example to show kind of where I stand on movie reviewing. The way Mark looks at movie reviews is, he tries to look at things objectively and tries to look at its accomplishments as a film. But me personally, I want to point out, I'm not throwing any shade towards Alice Mark. His video is, it's good. It's a review video. He knows a lot more about movies than I do. I'm just using his video as an example to show people why I have these opinions that I have. And I'm just using him as an example. I probably should have set this up better, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. In my eyes, in movie reviewing, if I enjoy the movie and I have a good time with it, I'm going to give it a good review. So that's why maybe if someone out there is like, oh, but as a movie it feels it doesn't, as a movie it feels it does, I don't think there's a way to objectively look at movies. So the way I see it, I enjoyed this movie, and I am going to rate it on my enjoyment, because I think that's the most important thing you can do. I want to stress once again, I'm not throwing shade towards Alice Mark. I probably shouldn't have even brought him up. I apologize for even bringing him up. That was my bad. I just thought I could use his video as an example of somebody else's type of argument, but I know some people are going to take that out of context, so I apologize for that. That was my bad. But yeah, if I had to give this movie a rating, I would give it an 8, maybe even an 8.5. Like, I know that's probably high considering what some other people are giving it. And some other people are giving it like 7, 7.5. I'm going to give it an 8 or an 8.5. Honest to God, I think it is that fucking good. I think it is that good. This is so, like, they took what the first movie set up and blended it with the game elements so well. Like, there's actually some things that are referenced in the games. Like, most of the references in the games I haven't even brought up, because I honestly consider them spoilers. Like, if you just need to watch the movie for yourself and see that shit for the first time yourself, you don't need some Irish fucker on the internet to tell you, like, oh, this is in the movie. Like, just don't take my word for it. Go watch the movie for yourself. And if you're in America, just, wait until the 8th and you will enjoy this movie. But, yeah, that's really all I had to say. So if you guys enjoyed the video, sure leave a like. Leave a comment in the comment section below telling me what you think. And please try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible for this review. As I said, I will be doing a spoiler review in a couple days. Then we can talk about spoilers in the comments. But try to keep the comments as spoiler-free as possible in case anyone who's watching this video is looking for any more information on the movie, like about whether or not they're going to like it, kind of thing. And they just, maybe if they want to hear something I didn't bring up, hopefully you guys know what I'm trying to say. Subscribe and have the way. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.